You're still wearing the headband?
Fuck yeah. Why would I?
I don't know.
They're comfy. Are they not comfy?
It's very comfortable.
When you sweat, I don't know if you sweat yet.
Oh yeah.
It cools you down.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've been painting. We got the basement refinished, so I've been painting all afternoon. And yeah, this sweatband has been a lifesaver, and we should make them a sponsor.
That's $10 I've ever spent.
You guys both have the same dumb headbands?
Yeah, I'd like to see Bill's bald fucking dome popping out of the top one of these one day. Oh, he's got a little hair covering up that male pattern baldness.
I'm not going bald yet. All right. It's been 65 years. My hair is still here, so going strong, baby.
That's not bad. That's not bad. So, not to bury the lead here, but Bill, we hear the kingdom is under attack. Queen Bill.
Yeah, my neighbor stabbed 22 times outside of my house and almost killed
we just
her.
went through the story. You can't call a woman a that just got stabbed and sent to the fucking hospital. Like, we're 10 seconds in, and we're going to have to already hit our beep quota.
Sorry. This woman, my neighbor stabbed a woman 22 times with a pair of scissors outside of my house. There's blood everywhere. The victim, allegedly. She allegedly stabbed her.
Yeah, so you just told us the whole story, and we can't get into it. We thought it might be a good on-air story, but it's not, because there's some like potential molestation involved and kids, and whenever it gets into that realm, it's just never going to be funny or that entertaining. It's just going to end up being sad, which is what it was.
Yeah, I told you. I told you it was, you know, the first reaction is blame it on the pussy. You know, my neighbor has different girls running in and out of there all the time, so that's what I thought. I thought she stabbed him. Yeah. You know, and then when I found out, common. I figured domestic violence, you know, he probably got stabbed. You know, she walked in on him having sex with a girl and she stabbed him. But no, I was dead wrong. Dead wrong.
A little bit darker than that. And you know what? That actually just kind of makes sense and falls right in line with the fucking bullshit that we're dealing with as a show, as people, men, society, women, everything going on right now in the month of August 2020. Fuck this. Welcome to the Simple Mind Sports Show. Friday headlines, August. Who gives a fuck? Here we go.
Is the flag flying at half mast right now, Bill?
You talking about his dick? Is this a joke?
Is
this a 20-year-old reverse joke?
It always flies full mast, Raymond.
No, because of the cops there, and the woman got injured in the kingdom. I didn't know if the flag was flying half mast.
Oh yeah, we do have to touch on the kingdom was breached. D'Artagnan.
They did yell at me for moving evidence, so you know, I didn't know.
Fingerprints are in the fingerprints are on the crime scene.
Yeah, I guess.
D'Artagnan, where was the defense?
What a week! What a day!
Hail your musketeers, D'Artagnan! The Queen is in danger.
When you almost witness a murder, you got to start drinking.
Yeah.
Some claws.
Also, we buried the lead. Sober Bill, 2 days done.
Done.
It's been since Sunday. It's been more than that. It's been 4 days.
I applaud you, man. Absolutely beautiful, because the shit that we've gone through in the last 2 days, I've been drinking nonstop. So, look, we're gonna start off Bruins, because what an absolute pile of shit that goddamn game was. Could have used a little bit of enlightenment on behalf of the NHL to save us from that fucking disaster. Would have been nice to postpone that game.
So did you I text you? I don't mean to cut you off your lead. Sorry, I texted you this morning. You hear what Chara said. So the Bruins got a lot of shit in about not canceling the games, and everyone else started canceling the games and stuff. Well, I guess he came out and said there wasn't enough time. We didn't know what was going on, and we had to start playing. So it wasn't a gut shot reaction like you saw in basketball where they like planned it all out. Like,
and to be fair for the NHL and the Bruins and these guys that played, Evander Kane. Well, we were going to get into this a little bit later. Might as well. Evander Kane has come out as an African-American hockey player. Not a lot of them. He's come out and said that he wished the NHL did a little bit more, and they are. They've postponed all of the games tonight, Thursday, as we record. But there's been no backlash from the NBA or NBA players to the NHL players. There's been none of that. It's been a lot of media hoopla, giving shit and Twitter fucking tough guys giving
Yeah.
the NHL shit for playing games when the NBA decided not to play games. And we're going to get into this more. So let's not jump ahead of put the cart
and
over the
I'll
horse
just
here.
say
But
one thing about hockey too. They're in that bubble. I don't know how much I know obviously they know what was going on. I don't know as far as like the sports world, like what they knew what was going on, because Philly and Islanders had already tipped off, or the puck dropped then, so they were already playing, and then the Bruins just rolled in right after that. So I don't really know, once they were in that locker room, what they kind of saw or what was going on there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
and let's remember that sorry to cut you off again, but
Mm-hmm.
the shooting happened on Sunday, and there were games played on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So
basketball games, baseball games,
baseball,
like all of that, you know.
So the repercussions from this that are still working through now did not happen immediately. So yeah, anybody that's given the NHL that hard of a time, I think that's misplaced, and they have clearly made the decision now to recognize what's going on and postpone the games for Thursday night. But look, let's get back into that in the NBA boycott after we just kind of bury the fucking Bruins for the dumpster fire that they put out there, so we can get a little frustration on the table. Normally we do a recap of these games, but look, if anybody watched the game past the third period, God bless you. I gotta turn that shit off before the second ended. A lot of people are saying that the Bruins quit after that second goal when the referee basically tackled Lazan or whatever it was.
Yeah, but
I don't know if they quit there, Bill. I don't know if they quit. Hold on, before you get into that exact play, when they scored, when we and little inside scoop here for the listeners, Bill and I were in an epic fucking pasta battle last text.
Yeah, if you were local, I would have came over and fucking stabbed you. I was so pissed. I'm like, dude. And then I figured you're just doing it to just be an asshole.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
sober Bill
is
is
just fucking. Oh.
That's the worst part. He's sober, and you're fucking just egging him on. I'm like,
I knew you were egging me on, and I could not stop. I could not stop it.
Needling the shit out of sober Bill.
I just know exactly the kind of person you are, and I could not fucking stop it.
So anyway, then Pasta makes that sweet pass. I mean, beautiful pass. Pasta had a good game last night. I'll be honest with you. He was all over the place on the offense. He had a nice pass to Marchand. Same play that they scored on in game 2 to tie the game, and they were down 3-1. And I said, okay, look, you got a little momentum here going in the third. Looks like they've turned it on. They might make this a game. And then boom, bang, boom, 4-1, and that was it. That was fucking lights out. Game over.
You pulled Halak too. It's just
pulled Halak. So I think that this is the more important part to go. Look, everything sucked. Okay, if top to bottom, everything sucked on the Bruins. I think a couple things I wanted to go over is, number one, I think they pulled Halak to save. I think they went into this game thinking it's back to back, and we got old guys, and we need to save their legs. And as soon as they went down 4-1, pulled Halak. That's the first thing that jumped to my mind. Not that he sucked in this game, that we got to save him for the next game.
Yeah, I think that was true, and I felt bad for Vladar, whatever you want to call him, because you kind of just threw him in there. You gave up a breakaway. He
didn't give up a breakaway. He got his nuts fucking handed to him by Braden Point and a breakaway.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. You're coming in cold. I know. I don't put anything on him. You're 23-year-old goal. You've never played an NHL minute, and then you get thrust into a playoff game, a pretty intense playoff game. They quit. I think once Halak got pulled, I think that the team just shut down. And I think
they fed Darth Vladar to the Wolves for sure. They absolutely fed him to the Wolves, Ray. But I don't think we can see him again. I don't think we can see him again in the playoffs, and that may have been Cassidy's fault, feeding him to the woods like they did, and the whole team's fault, because now you're not going to be able to. Well, you did have a choice. Halak could have fucking gutted it out. It's another period and a half. He could have gutted it out, but they turned it off. So greater point to me, Ray. 7-1 doesn't really mean shit to me. 4-1 was that game, and then they turned it all, and then they shut it all down and said, let's get to game 4 and see if we can make this a series.
Torrey Krug got thrown out because he fired a puck at the ref, so I don't know if he's going to get suspended. I haven't heard anything today. He might just get fined, but he got tossed. He got in the fist fight at the end of the second where he
also slammed Tyler Johnson's
head right off the ice, and he came right back. I saw it right away, and I'm like, oh, shit. But he came right back. He came out for the start of the third. He came out of the box, so he kind of avoided injuries there. Man, Tyler Johnson's the guy you do want to injure because he's a very underrated player for that team outside of Braden Point. So, I mean, dude, if he got out, you started 7 defensemen. I don't understand why. You could have went for another forward. You started a fucking corpse of John Moore, who's terrible.
So, yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to get Ray's point at this. I asked who do you blame in this game? I had Cassidy at the top of the list. I had a lot of people on the top of the list, but Ray, let me just have you interject here and get your take on the whole shit show that was Game 3.
I blame 2 people: Bruce Cassidy, Zdeno Chara. You're the coach. You should have them ready to go on a back-to-back. Zdeno Chara is also your captain. He should have had his team going, had a speech, something, just to get these guys going after the first and second. They didn't look like themselves. They looked like an old men playing out on the ice. They just did not look good. And, you got to get your team ready for this. This is the playoffs. It's not a regular season game. This is the playoffs. You got to get ready. You got to have these guys going. And
I don't know
Cassidy
if I put it
treated
on Cassidy though.
Oh, come on, Bill. He treated it. Look, that lineup change fucking was a disaster. Why are you taking Clifton out? Now, Corrali better be hurt.
Corrali got hurt. He
better be fucking hurt. He better have some kind of injury. 7 defensemen is fucking stupid if Connor Clifton is not one of them. That is dumb.
I don't understand why
That's
you didn't
absolutely
play
dumb.
He's been playing so good, too.
The fact that Nick Ritchie is still – he better not play again in this series. You better put Stanek in there. You're not going to match the physical toughness of the Tampa Bay Lightning with Nick Ritchie. Get over it. So you better go try and match him on some level of skill. You better go match him on some level of skill. And Stanek is not a small guy. He can hold himself accountable. He can do more than fucking Nick Ritchie's doing out there. So to say that you don't put it on Cassidy, you can't put it on all Cassidy because the players look like dog shit. But that lineup change was a disaster.
I don't know if that comes down from like Cam and Don Sweeney. I'm not sure, or if it's just right on Cassidy. I don't know who makes those decisions to start 7 guys, but I mean, I think Clifton definitely should have been a guy. I don't think John Moore should have played at all. Grzelcyk hasn't looked great either. So I don't if you want to start switching guys out, you can start switching him out. But the thing with the Bruins is they like to play that right-left matchup. So they want the left shot defenseman on the left side. They want the right shot defenseman on the right side. So I think where Moore was playing and they were kind of throwing that extra guy in there, I think maybe that had something to do with it. But don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. I
like the idea of a 7th defenseman if you were treating Zdeno Chara as your 7th defenseman and in certain situations defending a lead penalty kill, but as soon as they took Connor Clifton out of there, you negate the whole fucking thing. John Moore is the biggest mistake from Cassidy in that game, and then they didn't show up. They treated it like a back-to-back that they were never going to win, and that's what happens. But I will say this on to my next point: can the Bruins come back? How can the Bruins come back? I would, of course, say yes. Cassidy's quote was. This is kind of paraphrasing, but he didn't rip the team, but he said, I didn't like our fight. I don't like the way we came back second and third periods. I would expect a completely different animal in Game 4. And you have to expect that from this Bruins team. This is not a team that's going to lay down and die. I don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to make it a series, but they're not. But a 7-1 blowout is not going to make this team capitulate and drop the next 2 games and say, fuck it, we're out of here. I expect them to come back very, very strong and very hard and empty the kitchen sink on them in the first period and see where the chips fall after that.
Can I just offer one thing, too, with the defensemen? I think everybody on the defensive core was really shit the game before. So, I mean, I don't know if he was trying to send a message to these guys and kind of shaking it up because they played very poorly in Game 2. So, I don't know if that was kind of some of the reason. But you're looking at another back-to-back, Game 6 and 7, I think, or 5 and 6. I don't remember what it is, but you have another back-to-back coming up. So, I mean, I think that's why, to your point, Rich, you pulled Halak early and kind of gave him his, just to get his legs back because you do got to prepare him for another back-to-back. I mean, they should be able to come back. They look good, the first period of Game 1, but I think outside of that, Tampa is just showing their skill set. They're the far superior team, I think. And then the goaltending, and this is what I was bitching about when Tuukka quit. This is why we needed Tuukka. This is the series we need Tuukka for. Because honestly, looking at the matchups right now, Dallas is beating Colorado 2-0 in the West. Colorado's the best team in the West. You're playing the best team in the East right now. You get by Tampa, you might be on your way to a Stanley Cup, and you need Tuukka for this series. This is the series you need Tuukka to beat Tuukka, and for him to quit on us like that, I get it. It might have been a family emergency. Supposedly the Bruins knew before the bubble started that it might pop up. So I don't know what was going on. I guess he texted like Greg Hill or some shit or called him last week to kind of explain it. But This is where we needed him. And Halak is showing the fact that he's a backup. This is our problem. We're playing with a backup goalie. And Halak, the last 2 games, the amount of soft goals he was letting up is when he gets hot, he's hot. But when he gets like this, you see why he's not a starting goaltender in this league right now, because now you're overexposing him for more games and more minutes. I get it. He plays like 20, 25 games with the Bruins the last couple of years, but that's 25 games. It's not every fucking game for a 35-year-old goalie. You know what I mean?
I will call Halak's first 2 games of this series good, not great. I will call
I would say the first game, yes. The second game, I thought he gave up 2 really soft goals, and then in the overtime one, I don't think was his fault, but they couldn't clear. I think it was more on D.
I don't blame it on Halak though. My point is, Bill. Look, could Tuukka have been better in these last few games? Probably, but you won game 1. You went to overtime in game 2, and you got blown out in a back-to-back in game 3. I don't look at this as dire straits for the Boston Bruins because you lose 7-1. You could have been up 2. You could have been up 2-0 going into this game 3. You went into overtime. I fully expect game 4 to be another extremely competitive game, and it's a 50-50 pick'em game over the Lightning and the Bruins, and it's going to be that way. We said it was going to be that way the entire series. Game 3 just happened to get away from the Boston Bruins, and they approached it with a terrible, terrible fucking attitude, and I do blame that on Bruce Cassidy and Ray, Zdeno Chara, and your captains, who I think it was reported Marchand and Bergeron played 45 seconds in short ice time, penalty kill in short ice time.
Yeah,
so they were
3 for 3 on the power play.
They were not going out there to win that fucking game. They were going out there to save their legs and try and push this to game 7. And that's a terrible way to go about a playoff series in any sport ever. But the bottom line is, I don't think they're dead in the water. I don't think Halak is your biggest problem. Tuukka Rask can go home. If he has a family emergency or not, I'll still, to the day I die, say he didn't want to fucking be there. He might not ever want to be there again.
Nope, he's going to retire.
Hockey's not the number one thing in this. We've gone through this, right? So, Ray, let me get your last word on this.
One more thing real quick.
Go ahead, Bill.
Stanley Cup Finals, Bruins beat St. Louis 7-2. In game 3.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what we just saw, 7-1, and they came back and won in 7. So there is hope, and I don't think that crushed St. Louis at all. So I don't think it's going to crush the Bruins. So I mean,
it's not. You have a veteran team that couldn't handle a back-to-back that should be able to handle this adversity. So Ray, last word. What do you expect of the Bruins in game 4?
Totally different team, hungrier team. This is like a slap in the face for them. I hope this wakes them up. I think the veterans are actually going to go in the locker room and say something and get the team motivated to go out there and play. And, I see a win. I see a Bruins win.
Bill, you got to win game 4?
Tomorrow night?
Might not be tomorrow. They might be pushing these back because of the postponement. They might play Saturday, which would be excellent for the Bruins.
Excellent. I expect them to come out and win game 2.
4.
Game 4. You got to
their second win, yeah.
Yeah. So they win. Yeah, I think so. I still have it going 7 games. I think Tampa's going to win in 7, but I still have it going the distance. So, I mean, you're going to see what the team's made of now. I mean, they've come back from 3-1. They came back from 3-1 against Montreal in 2011. I know it was a different team, but you still got basically the same core outside of Pasternak and stuff. Chara was there, Marchand, Bergeron, Krejci, those guys were still there. So they know how to do it. They've come back against Toronto in 13. So, I mean, they know how to do it. So let's just see if they can do it this year. Like I said, the bubble was the worst thing. COVID was the worst thing to happen to the Bruins because of how hot they were playing. I think they probably would have won the Stanley Cup if COVID didn't happen. But now we're kind of seeing the ramifications of what happens with them in the bubble with Rask quitting and all that. So we'll see. But
I see the Tampa Bay Lightning as a team that if you apply pressure has a tendency to crumble. And if they get rolling, they have a tendency to really get fucking rolling. So
they look good, though. Remember, they lost.
Of course, they look good.
Columbus,
of course,
too.
they look good. They're the best. They're the best roster, probably, like we've talked about, either in the NHL, at least in the Eastern Conference. They out-roster the Bruins, and you saw that on full display the other night in Game 3. But my point is, don't underestimate these Bruins. They will come back, and it's hard to call this game. Should they? Yeah, I'd like to see them win. I'll put it this way: I guarantee you're going to see a winning type of performance, whether the pucks bounce their way or not. That will determine the game for the Lightning and the Bruins. The Bruins aren't going to go blow them out. The Lightning are going to come back strong and hard and try and close this thing out because they know the Bruins team as well as anybody else. They don't want to give these guys fucking hope. So You'll see winning performance out of both teams, and we'll see which way the puck bounces. But Jesus, just don't give me another fucking game 3. Do not quit. Do not quit on us, Boston Bruins. Do not be those type of people, and I don't think they are. So let's get to the big world news, the big sports world news that's been kind of taking over everything. Obviously, the fallout of the Jacob Blake shooting in Wisconsin. So yesterday, now this will be released on Friday, Thursday. So on Wednesday, in the afternoon, this is when the Bucks did not come out, and it was live reporting that they were boycotting. Orlando followed suit, and then the games, NBA games for the rest of the night, postponed. The rest of the NBA players met that night, Wednesday night, to discuss what they were going to do. Also, 3 MLB teams postponed that day. Today we have Rangers, Athletics, Phillies, and I think I just got a report. There's
Red
3 more.
Red Sox and Blue Jays as well.
Red Sox, Blue Jays postponed today.
Yep.
Rockies, D-backs, Orioles, Marlins, Mets. Whoever's playing today from the MLB is just an idiot. I don't know if anyone's gonna start those games, or unless they started early and got done. WNBA postponed. Look, everyone basically fell in line after the Bucks between Wednesday and now we're recording Thursday night, right? I did want to say good for the Red Sox for postponing their game today, but I sent you this in the email. Tomasi wrote this fucking article that rips the Red Sox a absolute new asshole, and they fucking deserve it. So he basically compares the way that the Red Sox handled this the shooting and aftermath compared to the way the Dodgers have handled it with Mookie Betts and the Red Sox with Jackie Bradley Jr. Jackie Bradley Jr., the only African-American player on the Boston Red Sox. So Tomasi has this article kind of showcasing that, and this is, I'll just read you the one quote. It's a little bit long, but this is the one that I took out of it that kind of summarizes it all up, and it's oh man, I was fucking relishing in it. So Tomasi, quote, "The Red Sox didn't hold a team meeting about canceling their game against the Blue Jays in Buffalo as form of protest. They didn't discuss following the lead of the NBA, which saw its entire slate of playoff games wiped clean, or even the lead of the Celtics, who had made it clear a day earlier that they didn't know if they would be able to take the floor on Thursday game 1 against the Raptors. Instead, Bradley spoke to manager Ron Renicky and backup catcher Kevin Pulaski. We only know this because a local reporter criticized the team for consulting him, and Bradley corrected the record to note that 2 who did, which was effectively even more damning. Just the manager and the second-string catcher," Tomasi says. "No other teammates, no members of the front office, no one in ownership."
That's bullshit.
3,000 miles away, a different scene unfolded. As the Dodgers prepared for batting practice in San Francisco before playing the Giants, Mookie Betts told his teammates that he wouldn't play. Rather than leave him on an island, they rallied around him. Black, white, Latino reached a decision. If Mookie's not playing, none of us are.
Yeah,
The Dodgers were one of 3 games that did not play on Wednesday night. And Mookie Betts, it goes on to say basically that Mookie Betts has never felt this type of camaraderie. As soon as he got to the Dodgers organization, Tomasi continues to rip the fucking Red Sox for failing on all absolute levels of ownership, management, and players. Just the shit show continues in Red Sox Nation. Bill, your guy on your hate list, John Henry, running a shit show of a baseball organization that should be class of the league. I just wanted to bring that to the attention in this world of turmoil that we're living in currently, that the Red Sox are not helping anybody, not even their own players. Fuck the Red Sox. Fuck baseball. You're dead to me.
Well, now you see why Mookie didn't want to be here. You know,
Yeah,
I think
no shit. You still think you would have taken that 420 deal, Bill? He was the fuck out of here.
not after kind of seeing this, and then you kind of. It's been brought up multiple times here, like how racist Boston is for black athletes in baseball, Fenway, all this. I don't know how much I believe. You hear stories. You don't hear people in the crowd or whatever. You know, I don't want to get into that, but
just my one point on that. Sorry to build into everyone. Just my one point on that. Boston being racist. That really only resonates with the Red Sox.
Right. Well,
don't hear that at a Celtics camp, really.
You used to, though, when
you used to, but not
Bill Russell years. But that was 60 years ago. So I mean that
and they were racist. I mean, everyone's fucking racist. Boston's still kind of racist right now. But you hear the reports out of Red Sox, you don't hear it as much or at all out of Celtics, Patriots, Bruins. Obviously, we just went over the NHL and in their situation. But Ray, so this was the Red Sox, but just to finish this up, Detroit Lions canceled their practice on Wednesday in the midst of it. The Washington R-Words football team canceled their practice today, obviously our nation's capital. NHL, like we talked about before, is postponing their games. I'm going to get into
Giants
the NBA
just
boycotting
threatened to
here, but your
boycott.
thoughts on the Red Sox, the way they're handling it, and just kind of the initial onslaught of everybody kind of just taking a pause to recognize what's going on.
Talk about being 5 steps behind the whole situation. The Red Sox, it's just this bad luck. I mean, the whole world, the whole country's going through this right now, and you're seeing the Dodgers A+ on them, rallying around Mookie Betts, their star player, and I don't think he is going back in the lineup. I think he's staying out of the lineup for the next game, whenever that's going to be. He's not going back because he wants to see change. But it took all this for them to finally be like, oh, yeah, we got Jackie Bradley Jr. My bad. Hey, what can we do for you? It's a bad look for a shit team right now,
Yeah, and he was the one that had to go to his manager and backup catcher, which still needs to be explained to me. Why the fuck does that have to happen?
Shit going outside right now. Hold on,
okay.
I'll be right back.
All right, check it out, Bill. We'll hold it down. So yeah, like we're a Boston sports show. I want to get into the NBA boycotting because it's a big deal, and I have some things to say on it. But it needs to be pointed out how bad the fucking Red Sox have been on this, and just in general for the last 10 years, their PR spin campaigns and the way they handle their controversies or lack of controversies or alluded to controversies is embarrassment. It's an absolute fucking embarrassment, and they are shrouded. If they don't have 4 world championships, John Henry would be out on his ass.
He already should be out on his ass. I've hated this ownership for a long time. I don't care about they won 4 World Series. Great, thank you very much. But this ownership has been putrid for I don't know, since 2011 when you ran Theo out. You started the hate smear of Tito, who's probably the best manager in Red Sox history, and you pushed him out the door. I get it. He kind of lost the team, but you don't treat a man like that gave you 2 World Series, and you don't treat him that he was a serial cheater, he was addicted to pills, and you put it in your own newspaper. So that's what also pisses me off about John Henry is he funnels stuff through his own fucking newspaper because he owns it, and he only puts good things through his newspaper unless he wants a hit piece out there.
Or smears, the way they treated John Lester, the way they the way they handle their contract negotiations through the media, and the way they handle the scandals, even the way they handled Chris Sale went and got Tommy John surgery during COVID, and they didn't come out and say it. They tried to fucking hide it. Like, Jesus Christ, just like be better. My God, you sensitive skin fucking multi-billionaire losers. Just John Henry, go to London and run Liverpool. Give the Red Sox to somebody else for the love of God. All right, let's get to the big one. So NBA boycotting. We just went over it. Bucks didn't come out. NBA followed suit. We're recording Thursday, which would have been Celtics game 1, along with a bevy of other games I didn't bother to look up. Thursday is postponed. Most likely anything Friday will be postponed. But
I say Sunday they'll play.
Through multiple meetings, Wednesday night was a players' meeting where the first report was both LA teams wanted to leave the bubble completely. Most of the other teams voted not to leave the bubble. A board of governors meeting happened today, which is Thursday, separately. So players' representatives and owner representatives met separately. The news out of that about midday today was the NBA and the players have decided to continue to play the NBA playoffs within the bubble, which I think is the right decision. We can get into the reasons why. But, Bill, I think you're right. So they are talking about the first chance that we might see them is Saturday, but we don't. There's nothing concrete there. So I put it to you guys this way, and this is what I've been kind of talking about with other people in terms of what the boycott means, how the NBA players are handling it, I guess you would say. Is so number one, you're going to boycott games to demand change, continue to raise awareness, and use your platform for that reason. Or number two, the atmosphere within that community and the Black Lives Matter movement combined with what these players have to do with the bubble, not seeing their family, not having basically any type of life for months at a time, is just too much to handle. And you've been affected by this latest shooting and the things that it's brought up in the movement, and you just have to leave. You have to leave the bubble because basketball is not in you anymore, and you have to go handle whatever you have to handle.
Well,
either way, so let me kick it to you, Bill. Either way, I think the NBA players have a amazing and fantastic opportunity to actually make some changes and actually do some good if that's what they want to do. And the best way to do that will be continuing to play and continuing to have a platform in order to do that, mainly because they have leverage over the people with the money who need them to make the money. And as soon as you leave, as soon as you cancel your season and eliminate the opportunity for those people that want to make the money to make it, and we're talking upwards of $1 billion if you do not have the NBA Finals with the ABC money, you lose all your leverage. You lose all your leverage. And the last thing I'll say on this, and I'll kick it to you guys, Bill, Jaylen Brown essentially made that point in that players meeting to the players. He said, if you guys are serious about this movement, then we'll leave tonight and we'll go hit the streets and we'll do what needs to get done for the movement. But if you want to basically say, yeah, I need to leave just so you can go home and kick it and chill and get out of the bubble, that's not the right reason. And we need to stay here and do good here. And we all know how serious Jaylen Brown is about this and how smart Jaylen Brown is as a 23-year-old young man. Like, kudos to him. Jesus Christ. So anyway, so the bottom line here, but while this will be released Friday morning, as of right now, Thursday night, NBA will continue to play. And I hope that we see some kind of big act or big contribution or something from the NBA as a whole or NBA ownership group that is consequential within this movement and makes a change. I hope that we don't go on Saturday and just go back to playing basketball. I guess is my point, because then what was the whole fucking point of it, right? Yeah. You had all these meetings and you want to do something, so make the NBA and the ownership group do something. Sorry for that ramble, but Bill, did you have a thought on it?
Yeah, I hate to talk about dead people, but I just
do you?
I just think it's so. I'm going to bring it back to
not to make light of a terrible situation. Sorry, but this is our show. This is
I don't want to bring it back to a dead guy and Kyrie Irving, but he first floated this out here before the bubble started, and the first guy that came out in defense of that was LeBron James and said, "No, fuck that, I'm going to play." And he was the most vocal guy saying, I'm leaving the bubble. And basically, it's kind of hypocritical of him, but I don't want to, I don't want to harp on Kyrie because he's dead to us. But, I mean, he was kind of on the forefront of, kind of boycotting this shit from the start. And I just think it's weird that all of a sudden now another one happened, another senseless shooting happened, and then you're seeing LeBron go, all right, enough is enough. So it's like, I don't see a boycott is going to help. I think more of if they're using their platform for good. You're kind of seeing it with the social justice stuff on the back of their jerseys, and you have the biggest platform right now in the playoffs to express your feelings and your beliefs, and you need to use that platform now. I get it. You're still superstars, most of them in the NBA. You're very known players. What's the better way to use your platform is to be in the game, to be on the podium. You're not going to be that on the podium and expressing your beliefs outside of Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff that they're doing when they're not playing basketball, right? So what is boycotting actually going to do? I get it. It's going to affect the owners, but what do the owners have to do with social justice? They've already pledged
I have some
hundreds of millions of dollars to social justice initiatives and stuff. You know what I mean? So.
I have some thoughts on that, Bill, and I have some things that I've learned about the LeBron situation too. But Ray, what's your initial reaction?
I just had a question for both of you real quick, and then I'll follow that up. But what's LeBron have on the back of his jersey?
James.
Oh, he did. He didn't choose to put anything on the back of his jersey.
I just called him hypocritical. So
just to give you a little bit. So I watched First Take the entire show today, which I never watched First Take.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry,
no. I understand. I never watched First Take, but Stephen A. Smith is a legitimate force in sports media. Let's not
Highest paid
dissuade
media
that.
guy.
And in the NBA, he is the voice of the
Yep.
NBA and the players. And he's fucking tapped in, and he's intelligent and articulate, and the way he puts his point across is poignant. So listening to him, and obviously as a African-American man in America has a viewpoint that we will never be able to find. So being able, I found it educational, and what he was saying all this morning on all the ESPN shows. He was also on Good Morning America. I think he went on Fox. He was fucking everywhere. So, his point on all of this was kind of in line with mine. Like, look, the boycotts are the boycotts, and that's fine. This is your initial emotional reaction to what's happening, and that's good. Now you need to follow it up with a plan. And you need to follow up with a plan of action that's going to work with actionable items. So when you talk about, Bill, I don't know what boycotting games are going to do. Well, boycotting games have brought the entire nation's eyes on the NBA. And now Stephen A. Smith's point is, you have the nation's eye on you. What are you going to do with it? My point is, you want to go play basketball, you want to go play games again on Saturday, you better come out with something fucking big. It's because all of the nation is now on you, and your whole deal, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, all of you guys that wanted to go make a statement with Black Lives Matter going into this bubble. Remember, it was like 50-50 split. The NBA might not have done this. Now this is your elevated platform. You got Black Lives Matter on the court. You have your sayings on the back of your jersey, unless you're LeBron James. That wasn't going to change the world. That wasn't going to change the way that America treats black people. Of course, there was going to be something that happened. It just happened to come up in a time that you're right in the middle of your NBA playoffs. Is this not a perfect accelerated platform for you to do something grand and extravagant and big and huge? Mark Cuban, go do something. Mark Cuban, don't make a real statement. Go to Washington, get on Capitol Hill, do something big. You know what I mean? So that's where I stand with it. And Ray, when listen to Stephen A. Smith today, I think that this is that's the points. Those are the points that was resonating with me.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, like, at work today, all you heard was, "Oh, this is so political. I can't watch sports now." I keep hearing that, but I don't understand. Like, all these NBA players, they came from the bad parts of the country. They came from the projects or like lower housing developments. They saw this shit every day. 3 white guys that grew up in Raymond, New Hampshire, who probably had like 4 African-American families in it. We don't know what the hell
If
these
that.
guys.
If
We don't know what these guys go through. So when you see this shit and people like going out, they probably saw this on the street as kids, like people being shot for no reason at all. So like,
even as adults, there's NBA players
Yeah.
that have gone through it as adults, and it's not political. The people who are reacting to it are making it political. The NBA players and and the men and women in the communities that are just crying out for help.
Yeah.
That's not political. That's humanity.
Yeah.
You fucks. So, anyone on Twitter, on Facebook that wants to argue about NBA players crying, they're not fucking crying. They're trying to use their elevated platform to make a difference with something that needs to change.
It's never going to change. It's never going to
get.
change, like, the outcry, because you got the right and the left, and I hate to bring politics into anything, but this is what you're seeing. You have everybody on the right, oh, fuck this play, and then you get everybody on the left. But like, a good friend of mine made up a good point. He's like, he has to explain to his kids, like, how to not get murdered by cops, because he's a very good friend of mine, African American guy. Like, when he has to tell his little kids, like, his kids are 7 and 4 or 5, and he's got to explain to them, and like that. I don't have kids, but like, hearing the stories from a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, like, it resonates with me, not having kids. And obviously I'm a white guy, so I don't really know, but just hearing what he says, he's North Carolina guy, he kind of grew up in not the best of areas. So it's like, he saw it firsthand. Now he lives up north New Hampshire, where he might be the only black guy in New Hampshire, but now up north New Hampshire now, but he's got to still explain to his children, like, this is what happens. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
how do you explain to your kids
that's what I'm saying. Like,
the cops are bad. Like that's what kids are growing up now. Like
He commented on our Facebook.
Hey guys,
page.
let's continue this on the other side. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you another.
All right, cool.
Guys, to finish up on the bubble, the NBA boycott conversation, the Jacob Blake shooting conversation. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but we're running out of time.
Yeah.
As three white guys from New Hampshire, we're coming from a place of we're never going to understand, but I also think that we have a unique perspective of. Look, we don't get into this on this show, but I think it's important to touch on it. We have a perspective of a population of the country that I think is not being as, I don't know if the word is sensitive or appreciative or just having their eyes open to the actual movement that's going on, and they're taking personal offense to it because maybe they didn't come up on the right side of the tracks either. Maybe not everything has come easy to them, so they think that providing light to the black community is hypocritical, or they don't. Why do they deserve it when I don't deserve it? Can you get fucking past your own shit for a second and just, like, instead of saying, well, I have it hard too, go, I have it hard too, why do you get this? Say, I have it hard too, I understand. Can we not, like, reach to the lowest levels of our human existence and let that be our voice? Can we, like, try and elevate ourselves and just go, yeah, this shit sucks. It sucks kind of fucking everywhere, and black people have it worse than a lot of fucking people. Like, that's just what it is. So if you can do something, the best you can do is just listen or shut the fuck up. Don't say some stupid, ignorant comment because you have the ability to. And that's why, and that's where it comes back to this, the NBA boycotting and whatever repercussions that they're going to get from the fan base. I would say just no, but they're trying to do what they think is right to help a lot of people because they have a platform and money and
they
power
should use
to
it.
do it.
And they should use it.
And they could be absolutely silent and go play basketball and make their millions and do nothing and entertain you for the next 3 weeks. And would that be okay? Would that be better? Not to me. They're trying to do something. So let them try to do it.
Yeah, and I want to just quote my favorite comedian. I do want to apologize to the listeners here. I know this is a very somber show, so we'll bring back some pussy jokes here to make it a little more funny.
We're going to bring it back up here. Go ahead. Who's your favorite comedian?
Little Dave Chappelle. I don't know if you watched his 846 at the end. It was very, like, I love listening to him talk. I think he kind of plays both sides a little bit. He's a realist, but at the end of his, I don't know if you saw his YouTube special, but at the end he's like, I'm sorry this wasn't very funny, but I got some pussy jokes I can tell for you. So I just wanted to throw that. I just wanted to throw that out there.
My bad. I missed the joke.
I'm sorry.
I missed the joke on both sides of that. Well, I will. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk. Anybody else? Last words, Ray, Bill. Any last words on this? We should. Let's not beat around the bush too. Sports is an escape. It is something for all of us to spend our time on, and it's been unfucking believable. How invested have you been in the NBA and NHL playoffs in the August, like in the middle of COVID, not having anything to do? Sports has been an absolute, exactly what people needed. So I'm glad that they're going to play, and I hope that they do. I hope they do it right and make a change or make a movement or get something to happen. And I also hope the Celtics win the fucking NBA championship. I can have both.
Me as well. And both. Yeah. And I've preached this on our show many, many times. Sports is supposed to bring everybody together, and playing the sports. I think you're still making a statement with everything on your jerseys and all that, what you could say in the media, but I've preached it many, many times. Sports is supposed to bring us all together. My pure hatred for you last night, Rich, like, that's what you get from other, like, I enjoy shooting the shit like we were doing, but to other people, right? So if we're trashing on other teams, like, I feel like our hatred for other sports teams is what brings everybody together. Sports is supposed to be an escape from the world, right? And so now you're seeing these guys make a statement to try to bring us all together. They're making an awareness, and I think it's good. There needs to be real change. it's hard for us to speak on it as three white guys from New Hampshire because we don't really know. We've never experienced anything like that. We've never experienced a discrimination. But in this country, there's major changes that need, and it's taken me a couple of years to figure it out too. Like you know what I mean? Like even having friends that, going through this shit, like it took me a few years to like finally like, okay, like there's a real fucking problem here.
Yeah, it's not bullshit from
It's
the
not
media.
bullshit.
It's actually
Like,
happening.
I
Pay
get it,
attention.
the media,
but I will say this, Bill. I don't want to not speak to discrimination because Ray is fat. And there is fat discrimination in the world, and
that's
we
different.
should pay
Fat
attention
shaming
to
is
it.
always okay. Fat shaming is always okay.
What about 20-year-old jokes, you dink?
They never
What
die. 20-year-old jokes never dies, limp dick.
What about male enhancement jokes and Cialis jokes for
Mr. Raymond down in the bottom of the corner.
All right. Well, boys, I think that's as lightened as we can sound. That's for sure. But we like to have fun, shit on each other, shit on everybody else. But when the world is as fucking insane as it is right now, and we are now technically in the media, I think we owe it to ourselves and anybody listening to touch on the biggest news that is out there, and that's certainly on the top of the list. Outside of the Bruins being absolute dog shit.
Rich, and I think it was good.
Boston
I don't mean
fans.
to cut you off real quick. I think it was good to talk about. We've kind of skated around that issue.
Yeah.
Over the last couple months we've been doing this on the show, so it's nice that we're like bringing it to the forefront. It is a touchy subject, and we're three white guys from New Hampshire. It's really hard for us to speak on it, but
our opinion is out there. I think we made it well known. If you have a problem with it, or if you have a different opinion, just let us know. Have a regular conversation. Don't be an asshole about it. Maybe we can come to agreement to disagree.
Yeah, we're all
just don't be a
realists.
shitbag.
We're
we're also dumb as fuck, so we might be wrong.
Just don't
somewhere
talk
along
about
the line.
Just don't talk about pasta in front of Bill, because then he'll
don't tell
get mad.
sober Bill that David Pasternak is underachieving in the NHL playoffs.
9 points in
Or
5
he might
games, but he's underachieving.
He might stab you through the eyeball. Yeah, David Pasternak, why don't you score an open goal for me one fucking time? One fucking time. Maybe keep us in the game, Pasta.
Did you
keep
just hear me when we start on? I keep all my guns loaded in this house, bitch.
Hey, speaking of underachievers, guys that are going to disappoint you, let's talk a little Patriots and Cam Newton.
Oh, fuck you.
Let's do this quickly because we are running a little bit over here. But Patriots news and notes before we get to Cam. Gilmore has missed some time with a personal serious matter. There has been rumblings that it might be a contract dispute.
But he's back. I don't think it is.
He got back. He missed it again today, but he did talk in a little bit and said that he didn't touch on it specifically, but did say, yeah, it's a serious matter personally. I don't think it's a financial thing. Ray, you're the biggest cunt of us all, I would say. Do you?
No, because someone asked Bill Belichick, one of the media guys asked Bill Belichick, and the mean mug he gave and answered was, no, it's not contract related. Okay. So it's not contract related. Something's definitely going on. Yeah, something's definitely going on personal matter. He's fine. He'll be back. Start of the season.
Him and his $18 million this year, cap hit.
Defense has looked spectacular as well. Or the offense is just like shit.
Against Brian Hoyer and Cam Newton.
Well, let's not forget the wide receivers because they did bring in 4 no name. I didn't even learn their names. Don't know their names. 4 wide receivers were brought into workouts, and I think any even made the team. This tells you that their weapons are still not up to par. Correct?
Well, Edelman's banged up. He's missed time. N'Keal Harry's banged up. He's missed time. Mohamed Sanu has looked god awful.
He'll be cut.
No, he won't. They gave up a 2nd-round pick for him last year. He's not going to.
They're saying he looks that bad that don't be surprised if he doesn't make the team.
Gunnar O'Shefsky.
He's been the best. He's been the best wide receiver in camp. But I want to bring up one thing.
HGH makes you feel and look good, baby.
I do. Yes.
Just fly under the radar, Gunnar.
I don't take fucking HGH. I'm fat.
Get on that TB12 Edelman special.
I want to bring up one thing though, which we didn't see a lot of it last year with dead to us Brady, but Cam is taking a liking to N'Keal Harry. They're working after practice. You're seeing a little bit of chemistry in practices. Obviously, we're not there to see it, but you're hearing it come out. I think that's a good development. I think you're bringing in guys from maybe more competition. I think the guys you're bringing in are bottom of the roster guys. So you're looking at Jacoby Myers, who's looked terrible. So he's probably going to get cut. So you're looking at guys that are special teams guys that could play special. Like Jacoby Myers doesn't play special teams. Mohamed Sanu only does return punts. So you're kind of looking at the back end of your receiving corps because I think was this Jarius Bird? No, he was a safety. Bird, whatever guy.
Darius Bird has been in the mix for most of their.
He's got the speed. He's got the speed,
stuff.
and he's looked
Where's your
good.
boy Dalton Keene, Ray? Where's your boy Dalton Keene?
He was out there. He was playing. They said he played fullback, running back, and he played tight end. I would
Ray
practice.
fucking loves Dalton Keene.
I
The
love
other
that.
guy, aside,
So hold on,
whatever his name is.
Let's get to the man himself. Cam Newton is yet to be named starter. Latest press conference, he says, "I don't feel like a starter." He also said working with Josh McDaniels and who's the other quarterback coach, the new quarterback coach, whatever his name is, and he
Troy
also
Brown.
named the.
He's a running back coach there.
They also named He also named Stiddy and Hoiberg, or whatever the fuck his nickname is. And that bum from Michigan State, he said he's been helping him with the offense. Look, they're going to run a horizontal offense, running backs, fullbacks, wide receiver screens, run
Cam
pass
strengths.
option.
They're running to
They're
Cam
gonna,
Spr-
because
Cam
he
strengths.
cannot run the Tom Brady offense. That's proven. Not going to fucking happen. Cam Newton. Not going to happen. So I asked you this question in the email. When will Cam Newton be named the number one quarterback for the New England Patriots?
Next Thursday.
When do
Next
what time
Thursday.
do they kick off week 1?
That's what I said, Bill. The
What
second
time
he
do they
walks
kick
onto
off
the
week
field,
1? What time did they kick off? 1 o'clock?
Gotta
Is it
be
a
1
1
o'clock
game?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so they'll tell it by 12:30.
They won't
They're
even
gonna-
do that. They won't even name him. I say you'll know he's a starter if he walks onto the field first.
But can I say one thing? He looks and sounds like he's been here for a while. Not like picking up the offense, but like what he's saying. Team first. Have you heard anything since he's been in New England?
Oh,
It's
humble,
team.
team,
Humble, team.
Learn. Everyone's been great.
This is what you want out of a
I
me
got to be
first
a
player.
leader.
This is what you want out of a me first player, right? So you can shit on Cam all you want, and everything we heard about Cam, like we're not seeing a lot of it because he's buying
He
buying
buys up your weight.
he's buying into what the Patriots are selling him. Because you know why, Rich? Because he knows that this is his last fucking chance.
Yeah, he
needs a-
has
he-
to. That doesn't
he
mean
needs
it's going to
buy-
relate on
it
the
doesn't
field,
matter.
Bill.
I'm not saying it's going to relate on the field, but I'm just saying right now he's looking and talking like he's been in the system and has been under Belichick for a long time. And that's really good to see. I get it. It was his first press conference, and he said a lot of stuff that like it's team first. This I don't feel like a starter. Team first. Team. You didn't hear the Carolina Cam when it was me. Now you're hearing team. In my
I'll
opinion.
say this. Let me say this about Cam Newton. When he was in Carolina, I don't think that he was me, unless it was about him losing and it being his fault, and then it was about everybody else around him. I think that he is an absolute stud when it comes to having the cameras on him and knowing what to say and being in front and being in the bright lights. And if that means polishing your turd a little bit to make Belichick happy, Cam Newton can do that because he's been in the limelight since he was 17 years old. What matters to me is if you can play. And if you throw a pick six or 4 picks one game, can you come to the media, face the music in Boston, come out the next game and throw 4 touchdowns and dab on my ass, Ray? That's
Let's
what I
hope
would
so.
like to know out of Cam Newton. You can talk
it on that ass on Sunday, bitch.
You can talk Belichick's fucking talk. You can play right out of his playbook in front of the media all day long. It doesn't mean shit unless you can throw a 7-yard out option route to Julian Edelman on 3rd and 6. That's all I care about. That's it. Then you can dab all day long. My biggest thing with Cam Newton has been he's a terrible loser and he's not that great of a quarterback. So if you can fix those things, I'm all game. Sign him long term. I don't give a fuck. I just want to win. I want him to be good. And it sounds like he sucks. He can't pick up the offense. He's not playing very well. The defense looks like the 86 Bears because the Patriots offense blows. And Cam Newton is ahead of that offense. So tell me why I give a shit that he's saying all the right things that Bill's telling him to say. Ray?
I can't wait for September 13th.
Okay. Look, we've gone long on this. This has been the Simple Mind Sports Show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging with us. And hopefully the Patriots win because 2020 sucks. But we love you. Thanks for listening.
Pray
Good night.
Pray for the kingdom.
Pray for the Queen's Kingdom. D'Artagnan!
The kingdom is under control. I have 3 of Manchester's finest sitting outside my front door right now.
Bill, just go up to the youngest looking one and say, son,
I did. I already asked him. He was on the force for a
you
year.
shall be named Simba.
only been on the force for a year. I was like, is this the craziest thing you've seen? He's like, yeah, it's up there. Dude, as soon as I walked in, my neighbor, like, I was like, wow, I missed a lot of the excitement, huh? And my neighbor is like screaming from the window. She's like, Bill, meet me out back. I'm like, all right, I'll be right out there. Like my direct neighbor, and she's like telling me everything. I'm like, fuck, dude. Damn it, why didn't I work from home today?
That's crazy, man.
We would have been able to do the show. You probably would have been in handcuffs, but I got you a lawyer.
Yeah, I would have shot a bitch.
We would have been your lawyer.
Yeah, we would have been. We would have been
Have you
counsel
seen you?
in our
Where
head.
hold on. We're here for Mr. Gately.
Only his attorneys are allowed to see him. Where his attorneys?
Hold on, I'm gonna send this.
Simple Minds Inc. Say that again. Simple Minds Inc.
Did I stutter? No.
You want to see this?
What's your name, sir? D'Artagnan.
When we started this band, I was needed was a laugh. Years gone by, I say we've kicked some ass. When I made rage, you hit the stage, drilling a rush through my veins, and I say we're still kicking